All right, welcome back. So if you are new to this series, check out the first video, but we're talking about rhythm of speech. We're talking about getting more natural so you can be clearer, be better understood, get your message across much more effectively, much more naturally when you're speaking English as a second language. So this is the next one in the series. So far we've done quite a few spelling patterns which involve a lazy sound called the schwa. That's how it sounds. And the patterns we've done so far include connect completely. We've got a useful but immoral label. We've got words like perhaps, I forgot, to survive. We've got words like suppose and success in that list. I suppose it's a success from the last video. All of those highlighted parts of the words should be weak. And if you're making them too strong, that's going to have a huge impact on your rhythm of speech, your clarity, and how natural you're feeling when you're speaking in English. So the next one in this series is called open season. Right? So we're looking at word endings, weak word endings, where the word ends with an en or an on, and there are loads of words like this, and it's weak and lazy, not stressed. And in order to make that happen most effectively, we use a lazy mouth shape. So we don't say open season, for example, with fully formed vowel shapes with our mouths. Instead, we say open season. And that changes the rhythm of speech, right? Not open season, but open season. Open season. And there are loads of words like this. Let me give you some words like open. We've got words like taken as well, or fallen, or forgiven. Loads of words in this group. So a good example from this would be the following sentence. It's taken me a long time to open up. Yeah? Taken, open. It's taken me a long time to open up. Making those parts of the words lazy really helps to strengthen and stress the stressed part of the word. In this case, the first syllable, O, is stressed in open, and te is stressed in taken. It's taken me a long time to open up. I do not say it's taken me a long time to open up. It just changes the rhythm of speech, doesn't quite sound natural. More words like season. So I could say, that's the reason they're doing so well this season. Yeah? They've learnt their lessons. That's the reason they're doing so well this season. They've learnt their lessons. Loads of words like this. So I'll give you some information on how to find more examples in a second, but a quick coaching tip for you. Something I often use with clients is, if you're struggling still to use a lazy mouth shape because you're so instinctively interpreting the spelling, and it's making you, when you see the letter O or the letter U, for example, it's making you round your lips too much, right? And saying something like season, then what we can do is we can just change the spelling. We can even write it down in a new way. So the word season could look like this, season. So what we're doing here is we are taking your instinct to follow the spelling, which is not working well for you here. We're taking that instinct and we're using it to our advantage, because the letter E instead in the word season, in this new spelling, this incorrect spelling of the word season, might encourage you to move away from that rounded position and towards what is normally associated with many speakers with the letter E, which is or E, or something with a smile. So of course we don't want to smile when we say season. We don't want to do it too much, but changing the spelling might just help us to interrupt our normal instinct, interrupt that kind of reflexive habit we have to say season and round the lips. So that's a good way to do it. Just change the spelling. Season, season. And we could do the reverse for the word open. If you're finding yourself saying open and the letter E, that your instinct is to smile when you see that letter E in the spelling, probably because of your first language, the influence of your first language, then a good way to do it is to spell it like this. Open, open. And it pictures your lips being slightly narrower. Pen, pen. Yeah, not pen, but pen, open. And that might help just to transform that if you're coming up against these really strong habits, which as much as you try, you're finding really hard to break. Changing the spelling can be a really good way to do that. And we can do the same thing for the previous list we've done. So we could change the letter O in connect completely to an E. Yeah, connect completely. Just encourage your lips to slightly smile and picture that letter E in your head. Connect, connect. It might help you avoid saying connect. We could do it for words like useful. That's a really useful one. You can change it to an E. Useful. Just picture your lips being slightly wider in order to avoid useful and rounding your lips too much. Useful. Useful. We could do it for another word in the perhaps I forgot list, the word forgot. We could spell with F-E-R, not with an O, but with an E. I forgot. Yeah, just encourage your lips to be slightly wider. This is if you're struggling to avoid forgot, over rounding your lips. Change the spelling to an E, that might help. Forgot, forgot, like that. Usually this little trick is most useful for words that have the letter U or the letter O in them, because it tends to be much more noticeable when people say those sounds with a rounded lip position. So saying suppose, for example, we can change that to suppose. And we could do the same thing for the end of season. Again, the letter O is really influential, and rounding your lips too much is quite obvious. Season, season, so changing that to an E can often have a really big effect. Now, you might be recording yourself and listening back and trying all these tricks I'm giving you and still finding it tricky. So if that's the case, or if you're French or Portuguese, for example, and you have nasal vowels in words that look a bit like this, so you're saying not season, but season, zon. You're getting a nasal vowel in there because of your first language. French and Portuguese are just two examples of that. Then those sorts of things might be useful to work on one-on-one. So you can get in touch with me directly by going to accent.coach for some personal help. And if you'd like to be first in line for the next video on the schwa, then just stay subscribed to my channel right here. Hit subscribe, hit that bell notification icon. And finally, if you want the resources from today's open season schwa pattern list, all you need to do is just click the link in the description. It'll take you straight to those resources. You've got more words like the ones I've given you today, more sentences and some exceptions too, all supported with audio so you can listen back, okay? But I'll catch you in the next video, and happy practicing.